So on behalf of our entire team that's worked on this work over 15 years, I'd like to thank and accept this award. Since Craig stole half of my script, and I only have 5 minutes, maybe, is it 5 or 50? I'm going to talk a little bit off script and say that and tell you why you're here is so important. So everybody's told a little story about themselves. So I grew up in the poorest county, in the 49th poorest state, Arkansas. Thank God for Mississippi. And went to a small liberal arts school called Hendrix College, and then on to the University of Arkansas for medical school. Thank God for the military scholarship. Went to Walter Reed, did my residency and fellowship. But during my training, I was as an intern actually, I was taking care of a patient named Mr. Byrd. If there's a HIPAA officer in here, no problem, because HIPAA didn't exist at that time. And he had beaten the odds against CLL because he went on a chemotherapy drug called fludarabine. When there was no therapy, then there was a therapy for CLL. And he lived 2 years longer. As an intern, I was sitting in Ward 71 at Walter Reed looking at his x-ray, and he had a pneumonia called pneumocystis carinii pneumonia that patients with AIDS get, because the fludarabine had taken his immune system, because that's what chemotherapy does. It targets everything. And at that same time, and I'm speaking off tone right now, off script, I saw soon after somebody presenting data, Brian Drucker, my hero, who Craig referred to, who developed Gleevec in CML. And at that time, that was just the most amazing story, because I was in the lab at Hopkins and people were coming on deathbed, some on respirators even, getting that drug and living. And we really wanted to do that in CLL. That was just a key component. So people winning awards, I think it's important because that props up heroes. And Brian was a hero for what he did and going against, because that was a dog, you can't develop targeted therapies. So we were blessed to go on and work through several things. Rituximab, which extended survival for patients with CLL, but it wasn't good enough because you had to give it with that chemotherapy drug fludarabine. And Craig told my entire story about ibrutinib. So the only thing I'll say is, what it targets BTK. Don't Google BTK, because you won't find ibrutinib or something good. You'll only find something very bad. So we moved. Flash forward, and what was the most amazing thing about ibrutinib, and what I learned about that, is a whole group of people, and what science is about, a whole group of people move forward working together, not worrying about credit, because they saw what this medicine was doing to help patients at the bedside. And more importantly, we saw that once patients are given a chance at life, a second life, when they thought they were going to die, all the good things they could do. Starting a company that employs homeless veterans. Building a psychiatry hospital that deals with addiction and provides free care to people who can't support it. What people will do when they get a second chance at life. So we're blessed as a team now to have seen the benefit that ibrutinib and then acalabrutinib has done to change patients' lives. And it's my job is so fun every day, because when I see a new patient with CLL and they come to see me and they're nervous, they've looked up leukemia, they're terrified, and I'm able to say, you're going to live as long as you would without CLL. You may have to take a pill at some point, but you're going to live your life. That would not have been possible had groups such as here not invested in the work of others, in our work, in the trials that were done to move this forward. So what you're doing is so important because research moves in great part through philanthropy. And I'm not going to use philanthropy, I'm going to say investment. So on behalf of my team, but I want to acknowledge my parents who got me here, and most importantly, my wife and sons who are on the beach, and is why I'm late tonight. And I really want to thank you for this award and being here tonight. Thank you.